my GameMaker, if I come, hello, today we're going to learn how to add game information to our game and to automatically have that game information show at the start of the game so the player understands the rules of the game. Before we get started, I want to go over 4 items you must have in your game information. When I am in my GameMaker, if I come down on the left-hand side and I go to the Game Information tab, I double-click on that. Here are the 4 things you're going to need to have in your game. You have to first have the game name. You also have to have the created by, what the objective is, and the objective is what's the goal of the game. How do you win? In our game today, Bouncing Ball, we don't have a way to win, but the object of the game is to get as many points as possible. And then finally, the directions. How do you play the game? Do you use your keyboard? Do you use your mouse? How many points are given? That kind of thing. In my game information, if you remember that it works very much like a Word document, so I can format it as when I'm done. My suggestion always is to type in your information first and then go back and format. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight game name. Remember, whenever I have anything highlighted, if I just start typing, I don't have to hit delete or backspace. It'll replace what's on there. So today, the name of my game was Bouncing Ball. And it's created by, and this is where your name will go. For me, I'm just going to put Jane Doe. We're going to pretend Jane Doe is doing this. The objective. The objective for the Bouncing Ball game is to gather as many points as possible. And the directions are to, using your mouse, click on the green object. And this is the directions is here. You would also put how many points things are worth. So in this game, the bomb is worth 5 points. And the apples, because they move faster, are worth 10 points. Again, this would be specific to your game, but you would want to always have how many points things are worth, or how many lives somebody has, or how long the game is, whatever the specific information is. Once I have all my text in, I can go back and format by highlighting, and I have a toolbar up here. I can change the font. It always has to be a font that everyone can read. So you don't go ahead and select American Sign Language because not everybody reads that. I can make the number larger. 36 is probably the largest you want to go so that you have real estate to be able to read your directions. I can bold, italic. I can also change the color. I'm going to go ahead and choose red. And I can choose the background color as well. And so today I'm going to do blue. So here I've changed the font somewhat. I'm going to go ahead and highlight the directions and change it to a different type of font. Let's see what that looks like. That looks nice. Okay, so now that I'm done with my game information and formatted the way I would like it to be, I click on the green check mark right here, and that will save my game information. So now when I go to play my game, it should show, oh, my game information does not show. And that is because I haven't made an object. I haven't put it in my room yet. But if you hit your F1 key, it should appear. So I'm going to close out of that and go back. Now, the second part of this assignment is to actually create an object called Object Start, OBJ Start, because I'm going to use that as a global object, and I'm going to place it in my room so that whenever my game is started, the game information will automatically pop up. So to do that, I come up to my toolbar and I select the blue orb. That's my create an object. I'm going to name this object OBJ, capital S, so that's the beginning of the word, it's for start. OBJ start. Remember, you must select a sprite because all objects have to be dressed. Remember the 6 figure has to be dressed. So I'm going to, I have a sprite called Sprite Start. I'm going to go ahead and select that. It's an 8-ball. And then I'm going to move over to my event. The event that I need is in the other category, and it's called Game Start. So here I have added the event Game Start, which is saying when the game starts, you're going to do this action. In this case, what I want it to do is I want it to show me game information. And the game information icon is in the main 2 tabs. I'm going to click on the main 2 tab. And underneath the info setting down here, I'm going to go ahead and choose the show info icon and drag that over. And you'll know it's right. It says show the game info right here. Now that I've finished this, I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Now I'm going to go ahead and start the game again, and I know that it's not going to show even though I've created the object. And the reason I know it's not going to show is that although the object exists, it has not been placed in the room. And remember that only those things that are in a room will actually work. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my room and go to Room Ball. And because this object, which is showing here, OBJ Start, is an object that I don't really want my player to use or see for any reason, I'm using it kind of as a global setting. I'm just going to always put it in my upper left-hand corner. That way, if I have to come back and fix something or see if my global settings are there, I know where to look, upper left-hand corner, and someone coming behind me will know to look there as well. So now that I've placed it in my room, if I click on the play button, my game info should automatically start. So let's see what happens. And voila, there my game information starts. So let me go ahead and start my game. Uh-oh, my 8-ball is appearing. Remember that I don't want my global object to show. So in order to get rid of that, I need to go back into my object start. And when we created our object, I didn't have you look at this, but you don't want it visible. You want to turn it off. You want it invisible. You don't want it solid. You want it just kind of sitting there in the background that you know it's there to do things for you, but your player doesn't know it's there. Now I click OK. And so now when I click play, it should have my game information, which it does, the 4 things that I must have in game information: my title, who it's created by, the objective, and the directions. And when I play, now that 8-ball is missing, and I can start getting points. Okay? So make sure that when you've done this, you have saved your file correctly. Right now, this has not been saved. I want to put it in my Programming Fun folder. And I'm going to, it was Jane Doe who created this, so I'm going to put in her name, Doe Jane. And save it into Programming Fun. And save. And now Jane Doe has her file correctly saved. If you'd already done that, which you should have done the very first thing, make sure you save your file one more time before you add it back into Google Classroom. So now that you've got it working, you need to be in the assignment and add the file that you just created back into the assignment and click on Turn In, Turn In. And that's it. Good luck.